How to build a 7-figure a year brand, e-commerce brand, step by step. Hello, my name is Ricky Hayes and I'm just going to go into this. This is slides. You can get that down below. Have a number of links and recommendations to things that you need. If you have any comments or feedback, just let down below. Otherwise, this is mainly just going to be on the slides that talk about this. So firstly, product selection, right? So if you think about it, to build a 7-figure brand, you need 100 grand on average, well, a month less technically. And there's a number of ways you can go about it. There's tons of videos on YouTube that show this, right? But my experience is that you want to stick to the niches that do best. Where fashion, baby, outdoors, garden, beauty, cosmetics, or jewelry, okay? Secondly, it's very important that you understand that on a general basis, most of these brands are targeted towards women, right? It's just as much men, but they tend to buy, more technology, like for instance, me, I've got like a secret lab, gaming related stuff as an example. But I don't recommend selling technology unless you're from that sector and you've invested a good amount of time and understand it, right? If I am to talk about my mouse here, I could buy a mouse anywhere. Are they good quality? No, right? So I always recommend keeping that in mind. Please don't just sell that. You'll get a lot of refunds and chargebacks and your business won't last, right? Make sure that, right? And the other thing, I've said this in other videos, but that I've learned is, it sounds very basic, but build a business around something you're passionate about, right? As you can see here, passion is money. It might not be quantifiable, but it is. I'm going to show you one of the brands that I've been working on and stuff as well. Interest, deep knowledge, building more trust and more customers and sales. It really is just that simple. There's not much to it. If you're wanting to build a brand in that space, personally I choose either baby, outdoor, garden or jewelry. You can't really go wrong with those. Little goes wrong, whereas with there can be in baby and all that. Always make sure your safety items work really well, right? They sell well, but you don't want to cause a baby harm, right? You don't want to be the reason that your item is defective. So it's very important you keep that in mind. Fashion, especially women's fashion, more so as opposed to men's fashion, because men's fashion is a lot more baggy items. But let's say I'm selling gym wear for men. Men very much care about the fit. It's just as much as a woman does. So it's very important that you understand those things. And when we're talking fashion is all about really aesthetic and the feeling that you get from it. So people will want to make sure that the item fits them well. So always make sure you keep in mind that fashion is the biggest industry, but it's also one that is incredibly competitive and that people are very picky, right? So unless you know a lot about it, I strongly recommend not doing it. And as I've said, point number 6 is be mindful of items that might harm someone, okay? Just so important. Too many people just sell anything hoping to make sales, and yes, that works. But it's my strong recommendation to not, right? That's not any way to build a sustainable business long term. And obviously things like, copyright, trademarked items, do not do that, right? That's a given. You want to find a product that goes wow. Now, it can be in any of those niches. That's cool, it can solve a problem, but it has a deeper meaning. One of the things I've learned is it doesn't need to be a want or a need. It can be a want as well. That usually a very deep connection is so important. Something that transcends the item that has that deeper purpose is really important. All right. So I just wanted to sort of say that. I'm going to now jump into showing you some of the next steps in this. Hey guys, so I wanted to show you the ad account, right, that I'm running at the moment. So you can see the last 30 days of ROAS is really good, but this is where as well things change, right? If we have a look last 7 days, you can see it's halved, right? Done really bad. If we have a look at, if from today. Whoops. Rice is, you can see collectively nearly half. Now that's because this is in the kids niche, and the kids niche can actually do quite well come January as well for certain types of items. And this is a seasonal thing, and it did really well leading up to Christmas and actually January, and then it drops off for a good number of months. So it's important to keep that in mind, that different industries. But to give you an idea, right, these are mainly remarketing campaigns. This, as you can see, is a high performing one, and it's recommending that I increase the budget. I'm not going to, because it's within the budget that I'm aiming at, and that I'm happy with. I don't want this brand to be absolutely massive. It's doing about 60, 80k a month. I'll show you the Shopify store in just a moment. But basically, I've had this in other videos, and you'll see it in the slides where there's like a video on dynamic ads. That's literally just a dynamic ad. As you build out your brand, you run dynamic ads, and if you have a collection of products, it just works, right? There's nothing much to it. There really isn't much. I'm going to be doing more Facebook style tutorials as we go down this path as well, because I just know that a lot of people want that. Let me know, of course, if you do want that. And these other two, that one's actually a cold, and the other one's a remarketing, which is a video remarketing, and the other one's a cold remarketing. And to give you an idea, right? The audience is about 2 million in size, I think it is, and I just keep using that same audience. It's not even an LLA, it's just an interest, and it just works consistently. I've tried LLAs, and they don't actually work as well as that. What I'm trying to say is that product selection is very important, and this is a space I'm very passionate about, and I just think that it's so important, and it translates to knowing the type of ads and stuff. Okay, so I'm just trying to give you an understanding. I'm going to go through in a future video, like setting up again an ad account and all the things that you should be aware of. I sort of have that in other videos, but I'll do another one as well, because I know that things a lot change. And as you can see, I just want to give everyone the latest information. I'm no genius at this, right? I just follow that. Run an ad to an interest with a creative, let it run, change the budget, optimize the various interests, you find the right interest, and then you just keep rolling it most of the time. Now, that's why the difference between building a brand as opposed to dropshipping is brand, this is consistent, right? If I look at last month, 8.6, spent $5,500. And that's not including Google ads, which I think generated $30,000, I think. And I did changes, but minimal changes. Whereas with dropshipping, you're doing changes all the time, right? So one of the key things is choosing your product, building your brand wisely, right? And so and as you can see, look at the cost per purchase. It dropped lots, and that's why business goes through different trends. And if we have a look at December, you can see it did really well. I spent less because obviously coming into Christmas, but again, that was another, I think Google did another 30, 40K or something, but slowed down operations come about the 20th, because obviously faster fulfillment. If you're drop shipping, you usually stop around the 12th, something, because you're not going to be able to fulfill the item and you're going to piss people off, right? So my point here is that that's the approach that I generally run, and it's just something that you should keep in mind as well. As I said, this is mainly a DPA, cold, with a video, simple video, with some copy, the benefits of it, and then a remarketing. And it's pretty much actually the same video, not even with a discount, right? And that's the benefit, is that when you're building a brand, don't just offer discounts. I know that with dropshipping, it's all about trying to get those customers, but you get one-time customers, right? It doesn't work long-term. So anyway, let's go now back into the slides and discuss a bit more about the tools and stuff you need to achieve this, right? This is not revolutionary. I want to tell you that. All right, so step 2, tools. Okay, let's talk about the tools. You already know, I've said it in the last part, Shopify. There's WordPress, there's WooCommerce is WordPress. I'll be honest, I get a little confused there. There's tools like Magento, plenty out there, right? And really just comes down to your preference. My preference is just Shopify, just because it just has all the integrations. It's just become that standard, right? So use Shopify, right? If you don't, Shopify has plenty of tools that you can migrate it and use across. But I just like the integrations. For me, you're then not limited. Right? When you're building a business for long term, you don't want to be limited. You do need a theme. There's plenty out there. Dawn, obviously, I'm going to say Debutify theme. It's fantastic. That's what I use on that store. It boosted conversion rates pretty much overnight, 20%, especially the version 8, because it's a lot faster. There's a lot of issues in it, I'm not going to lie. I've been working hard with my development division to make it super branded, and now I'm working on an AI store builder so that I can build, because building a store is boring, let's be honest. I've never enjoyed it. And so, you know, having it so that you can get your domain, have the store, automatic updates. I hate updating a theme. I know there's a theme updater, but I want it even more streamlined. I want it to be like a SaaS solution where it just updates and you have the new features, right? So that's what I do. And so I don't have to use third-party tools. There's plenty of third-party tools out there that you can use that are single apps for different things, and they all have their benefits, right? But I just like that, just one place, very tightly fit, away you go. Fulfillment apps, there's a lot out there, right? For dropshippers, I use DSERs. I use a lot of 3PL or self-fulfillment. I've done a lot too. Here in Australia, I've used like Australia Post, and you get a contract, you have the My Post business. For dropshipping, you can use DSERs. I will be honest, I personally recommend just dropshipping it through a supplier you find on AliExpress or Alibaba. I personally prefer the 3PL or self-fulfillment. You can build a proper brand, right? That's what I'm about. I'm about building longevity. I'm not about building a business where you just fulfill the product and never see the customer again. That's not how this should be. While these work, I'll always suggest, you know, there's so many 3PLs, right? Because e-commerce is boom, right? So just keep that in mind. And that sort of goes on to point 4. Reviews are important. I use my own app, Debutify Reviews, for obvious reasons. Saves me money, right? Does what I need. I can manage reviews, import reviews. It's stable, it's cheap. It's all you need. But otherwise, you know, another much more popular one is Judge.me, right? Yeah. So have a look into Judge.me. There's plenty. There's a number out there, right? I've also used Judge.me, and it's a good one. Next, you need email marketing. Shopify offers abandoned cart recovery by default. Under your settings checkout, you can check it there. I use Klaviyo for deeper customization. I'm building my own email marketing tool because I want my own. Email marketing is massive, and I just want my own. It saves some money. You know, Klaviyo alone cost me $600 a month, which is good money for them. But if I can save it myself, you know, as a much cheaper tool with email marketing and SMS and pop-ups and stuff. So, you know, there is a lot of benefit to Klaviyo over Shopify. You can do pop-ups. There are pop-up apps out there as well. It's like Just, you know. But, you know, you just need a simple pop-up for a newsletter. You want to capture that lead because long-term you'll want to run email marketing campaigns. I have videos on that, I think, on email marketing that you can go and check out too. That's on tools like Klaviyo and stuff as well. You know, one campaign, I'll actually show you after this, one campaign, you know, generate thousands of dollars. And while it costs $600 a month, and I don't want to spend it, $600, one campaign, I send usually 2 to 3 campaigns a month, generates $3 to $5 grand. So it very much pays for itself. It's very straightforward. For images, you use a tool like Canva. There's a number out there. I just use Canva because I have a professional one. I have like 2 licenses and that for myself and my team, like $10 a license. And you have an image enhancer, does the job. It's an AI image enhancer. It's free. Go check it out. It's up to you. You don't really need any other tools in the beginning, right? So that's pretty much the bulk of the tools: the store, the theme. You got your fulfillment, and obviously when you know, reviews and email marketing. That's all you need in the beginning, and then obviously you mainly more focus on the marketing. Okay, so I'm going to get into that. I'm just going to show you Klaviyo, just one moment. All right, so you can sort of see here, right? This is just a campaign where in the last 30 days, I Haven't sent many because, if I'm honest, had stock issues and fulfillment issues there. You can see this was sent, 2 weeks ago, and you can see 50% open rate. This isn't an amazing email by any means necessary. It's not like amazing. The click rate isn't amazing either. But you can see of the 394 that clicked, generated 3,000 in revenue. That's all I've really done. Right? I made a simple campaign, made a nice header image, links to some collections of popular collections, because when you're building a brand, you want to have at least 2 to 4 collections, and some copy, a simple offer, okay, and people will go and buy. Right? That's all you really need. If I were to have a look at last 90 days, you can see that run a few campaigns. Obviously, I'm blurring past these out, but on average between 2 to 3 grand per campaign, and you can see the open rate's much the same. Click rate is a lot better for some better than others, because one of them was a Xmas sale and one was a giveaway, right? So one was more geared towards building social media, one was just a flat sale, right? So pardon me. So that's pretty much it, right? And that's what a lot of small businesses sort of do. Just a simple tool like this, it does the job, right? So you don't need anything over the moon for this. And as I said, I'm no genius when it comes to this. I basically use my entire list, because I built a brand and they're very engaged, because they're continue to build that brand, they're very engaged. You just send out an email, right? People just listen and they trust you, right? So that's where why you do it that way. Like there's nothing else I really need to say there, right? Literally it takes you through the step, choose what email it's from, title, add some images. You can even use generative AI to help do the descriptions. It doesn't do images. There's plenty of tools you can do images. You get a graphic designer. I got one on Upwork. I just get him to do my graphic designs. I say, this is sort of what I want. Does it. Beautiful. Away you go. All right. So the next part is the marketing. I've already sort of gone through a bit of the marketing, but I wanted to make it clear, right? My strong opinion is not paid ads. People jump on paid ads, but don't just jump on paid ads, is my point. Worded poorly. But you want to more start with TikTok, Instagram. I personally find Instagram, especially for the niches I enter, still do generally better TikTok. That's just my experience. Maybe I'm not as good on TikTok. That's just my thing. Reach out to influencers. As you build your brand, one of the things is people will reach out to you and say they want to collaborate, they love your business. You'll get people reach out to you, and they're the best influencers to work with, because they wouldn't reach out if they didn't mean it. Reaching out to influencers has a lot of inherent problems. Response is the biggest one, and it really depends on your budget. So you want to try and find micro influencers. I have videos on that. You can go check that out. They're easy to work with. They love your brand and will make you a lot of revenue. Micro influencers, when I say micro influencer, usually is 2 to 10,000, and they're so easy to work with. A lot of the time, not even joking, they literally will be happy if you can give them a free product and a referral link, so they get they love your business, they love your product, and they get some money for it. Because most of them at that sort of level, it is a lot of them are hobbies, especially a lot of them like our mums. They just love your product. They have no interest, a lot of them, in actually making a huge amount of money. They just might make a bit of side money, but they're just content with where they are, right? Not everyone wants to be this huge online influencer. A lot of them are just happy and they just want to share their life, and I just think that's fantastic. Now, at the same time, as I've said, run Google Ads. I have a video on it. You can check it out there that explains Facebook and Google Ads. DPA, as you saw before, just killer. PMAX with an asset group. I run some creatives. You don't even really need to. It's that simple. And a brand search. And in all honesty, you don't even need much of a brand search now. The PMAX literally does it for you. So literally one campaign, Google have made So I just want to make it simple for everyone, right? Makes them more money. But don't forget that there's other forms of marketing. Referral marketing is so important. You can use plenty of tools. I use Loyalty Lion or Smile.io. I personally prefer Loyalty Lion, just a better interface. And it'll have a pop-up on your website. Anyone can sign up. You can make an account manually. It's got a lot of choice, right? At the same time, doing proper email marketing, only when you got 1,000 contacts, right? If you have 5 contacts you're going to send out an email campaign, it's 100% going to fail, right? And what will actually happen is a lot of the time you have what's called your domain authority score. It'll hurt your domain for your email deliverability. So in, like, let's say Gmail, which is the biggest one, there's a reason there's the inbox, there's the spam, there's the updates, news, whatever the others are. You want to land in the inbox. So you want to make sure you have a really healthy list that you want to send out. You can do flows for birthdays, thank you emails, discounts to buy again, and a campaign once a fortnight max for that many amount of leads. Even then, like I've got 20,000 plus that I email to, and I only do it on average once a fortnight. Don't want to spam them too much. You've got a business, slow and steady, right? It off-puts people when they're spammed. I know I get off-put. And lastly, you also want to post-purchase upsell. The reason you can get them in the beginning, right? I could have put that in step 1, but usually you only want to get one once you start getting some consistent sales, right? After sell is a good one. Cheap, does the job. You basically activate it, do your branding, add an upsell. Usually you want to add like a 20% discount to buy it again. Usually it has about 5 to 10% conversion rate. Nice little boost in average order value there, and customer lifetime value. All right, so that's pretty much step 3. And as I said, most of these tools pretty much all have, have free tiers, so you can start with them. So if you did want to start sooner, you can, but I'm just trying to give it so when it's important to you, that's when you should start installing these. And then you've got the sort of as a further step of growing your business, right? Set up a company as a sole trader in the beginning, based in your region. Obviously, sole trader is a term used here in Australia. Until it gets, and then you want to look at a company, right? And the biggest part of a company is it protects you. If the company is liable, you're insulated. The company becomes its own entity. And also, you get a lot of tax benefits, and that's the same in a lot of countries, but speak to a registered professional in your country about that. Until it gets overwhelming, you handle CS yourself, right? I made the mistake too many times of trying to, you don't want to handle CS, but you get a lot of valuable feedback, right? From working with your customers, and it's a lot more meaningful. Especially as a small business, it makes a massive, massive difference. When it starts detracting you from massively being able to fulfill your orders, improve your products, check in on suppliers, because it is hard, when you're doing all of that, that's when you want to look at hiring someone. I personally recommend someone from like the Philippines. I have it actually in 0.5, $6 to $12 an hour. That's USD, extremely worth it. Do not go for ones that are like $2 an hour. I know a number of people that have they just want to, bare minimum just so they can squeeze every dollar. Don't do that. Just don't. Point back to number 3 is, for my bank, I use virtual banks. I actually at the moment use Airwallex. I've used Wise, Airwallex, and Payoneer. I do that because I just like to situate my company so that I can just pay people easily, do transfers. They all have their pros and cons. I like Airwallex more, just because the transfers generally are cheaper for me, and here in Australia they've got Airwallex Yield, so you can actually, your cash can actually earn you about 3.5% of that over the course of annually, some extra cash. I could invest in other things, but that's just my approach. Point number 6 I've pretty much touched on. You can get a tax man. There's plenty of tools out there for tax related things. There's Xero, Mile, QuickBooks. Those are the main ones I know that do the job. I just use Xero. And like a lot of the time when you set up the account, they give you like a 90% discount for like 6 months because they want to lock you in. So we're talking like $4 a month. And you can like do automated reconciliations. It just takes a little bit to set up, and it's so easy, right? Especially here in Australia, honestly. Point number 7 is a very strong advice thing. Reinvest into the company and solidify it. Take your time, slow and steady. 12 months is a lot of time, but it's not when you're building something that's going to last you forever. Many of you know, obviously, I own Beautify. It's going through its peaks, it's going through its troughs. It's hard, but it's still there, right? As opposed to a business that with the drop shipping, it's a very typical thing that it's like nearly like a triangle. It goes up and then it goes down, and once it goes down, that's the end of its cycle, because that down is the fact that there's thousands of other people just selling the same product nearly the exact same way, right? It's not a sustainable model. Businesses go up and down, but you get the time to try and rectify those core issues, and that's sort of the key difference that you want to keep in mind. I also recommend looking into SEO. Takes a long time, 6 months, but you can use Google Search Console, tools like Ahrefs. There's SEMrush, Ahrefs. I just use that. Ahrefs does the job. And build a blog. You can use ChatGPT, or the big one at the moment is DeepSeek. Do a blog. Works really, really well. I want to build a blog, and it does. And just edit it, review it. Do that once or twice a week, and you're laughing. Remember, the key part in business isn't being the biggest, it's about stability. I always say that. If you want to know more about growing big, I've got a video on scaling on Facebook ads. Not that hard. Follow that, it does what it tells you. And I just wanted to put again about setting up a brand search. So I hope today has been helpful, right? I plan to do this style a lot more. I've been doing a number of videos, and I look at my channel because I've got it up here, and I've been doing more scripted content, and I don't regret doing that, but it's not fully me, right? When I look at me a long time ago, I'm best when I'm doing it this style, right? So I just wanted everyone to know that I'm sort of coming back to this. I'll still be doing a combination of both, but this is my style that I resonate with the most, and I think gives the most value to people. So I'll be doing this more. If you have suggestions, just let me know. But like, I've got one on AI for e-commerce that I'm working on, and a couple of others. I'm just going to be doing 1 or 2 a week in this style. As I said, the slides are down below. Do what you want with it. Make a copy. Don't care. Just use it to help yourself, so that you can sort of educate yourself, because that's all these are really about. I will end with, again, don't get caught up in the flashy. I know we all start somewhere, but don't get caught up in the flashy. I guarantee you the flashy stuff is that. It's flashy, it'll flash in your face, and then it'll disappear, and it's not sustainable. Right? The core part of what I want to teach in my videos is sustainability. I get a lot of stress and anxiety around sustainability in business, because business is hard, right? But I much prefer it, as opposed to just trying to sell some product and die and then do it all again. I don't know. To me, it's tedious, and that's not how you run a business, because that's not really a business. If you think about it, it's like basically it's not even a pop-up store, right? It's sort of like a mini pop-up store where you just come, try and sell a few things, die, disappear, and leave no mark on the world. Remember, try and leave your own individual mark on the world. It doesn't matter how big you become. You might become the biggest business in the world, or you might just stay as a solopreneur. I watch a number of people that are solopreneurs that are exceptionally talented, and that's all they want. They're happy. So, and obviously it all comes down to your preference, but at the end of the day, all of their connecting things is they have something called stability, right? Consistency and stability, building trust. And that's what I'm trying to teach here, right? That's sort of my approach that I want. So if you have any ideas on types of topics that you'd be interested in, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for your time. Have a lovely day. Take care, and goodbye.